Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we shall continue from where we left off in the previous video, Gerunds and Infinitives part 1. So in this video we shall focus on which ones to use, how to know which one we are supposed to use. Are we supposed to use a gerund? Are we supposed to use an infinitive? Are we supposed to use a bare infinitive, a to infinitive? What are we supposed to do? That's what we shall discover in this video. Let's just revise before we get started. So gerund, noun from a verb. So bare infinitive and present participle form. So do plus ing, doing. Infinitive, to infinitive and bare infinitive. They do not change the tense of the sentence. Right, so for this video, I have taken 3 examples with which I am going to demonstrate how to choose what. So the first one is the little boy had trouble. Then that is the clue. Convince the townsfolk that he had seen a mermaid. Number 2, I decided. Then go to the mall on 5th Avenue. Why? Because they had a better discount, or they had better discounts there. And number 3, it is considered impolite. Talk with your mouth full. So these are the blanks. We shall fill in the blanks with the correct form of all these words. Right, let's get started. And these are our options. So what can we do with these clues? Either we can use them as gerunds, or we can use them as bare infinitives, to infinitives, or as past participles. So let's see what our best option is. Right. Number 1, example. Number 1, the options are the little boy had trouble, then convince the townsfolk that he had seen a mermaid. So these are 4 options. Gerund. Convincing. Yes. Is it a possible option? Yes, it is a possible option. Bare infinitive. Convince. Ruled out. Why have I ruled it out? The same way I have ruled out number 4. Past participle. Ruled out. Why? Because we do not have a modal over here. The little boy had. Do we have a modal? No. Hence we cannot use the bare infinitive form. Otherwise it would become a verb and it would change the tense of the sentence. That's why I have not put it in violet or purple. I have put it in red because it's already been ruled out as an option. We do not have do in the sentence. The first verb is not do, is not a modal. Hence we cannot use it. The same way, convinced. Why have I ruled it out? Trouble. We already have had. Suppose I were to insert convinced over here, that would act as a verb and change the tense of the sentence. Remember, gerunds infinitives are not supposed to change the tense of the sentence. They are only supposed to indicate or give a hint about the activity. That's all. They do not change the tense in any way. That's also one more reason I have ruled this out is if I do insert convinced over here as the past participle, this sentence is incorrect because you cannot have the one verb over here and then the second one over here. So it does not make any sense at all. It in fact spoils it. Hence we have only 2 options: convince, to convince, and convincing. Right, let's see how we arrive at the answer. So first we saw how to rule out the options which are not applicable. Next, the little boy had trouble. Take this sentence and imagine or convert it into a conversation. It is a conversation. Every sentence that you write, you speak is. Every sentence that you speak, every sentence that you write has a listener, has a speaker. So in essence, they are all conversations. So let's look at them that way because that's what they are supposed to be. That's what they are meant to be. Let's take this sentence now. The little boy had trouble. Says who? Says the speaker or the first person. Not the first person as in grammar, just person number one. Right? The little boy had trouble. Now the listener or the reader or person number two will ask, the little boy had trouble with what? Hence, the answer, the little boy had trouble convincing the townsfolk that he had seen a mermaid. Why have I not told you any formulae over here? Because how many formulae can you remember? You have to understand the basics and not try to mug it up like mathematics. Okay, so that was that. You asked the question. You assume there is another person talking to you, or you are being spoken to by another person, and that person tells you just this much incomplete information. Then you'd say, okay, the little boy had trouble with what? Not to do what? The little boy had trouble to do what? That would be incorrect. Another clue you get is the little boy had what? Trouble. The little boy and trouble are not the same. They are not the one person. They are not intertwined. Alright, they are different things. Hence, we get convincing. Let's go on to example number 2 and then eliminate the impossible options or the improbable options. So I decided go. Okay, let's look at gerund and bare infinitive. If I put I decided going, is it okay? Does it change the tense? No, it does not. So it's a possible option. Okay, let's just say I decided go. Would it change the tense? Yes, it definitely would change the tense. It would not act as a bare infinitive any longer. How about to infinitive? I decided to go. Would it change the tense? No. Is it an option? Yes. I decided gone. Would it change the tense? It wouldn't make any sense. Because do you have a past participle? You have to have before that to get the perfect tense. So I have ruled out these two options. I'm going to keep gerunds and to infinitives as the option. All right, let's go on to the solution. Again, the same way. Again, the same concept, because that is the only concept. There is nothing else there. There is nothing else to understand. I decided. Okay. You decided to do what? I decided to go to the mall on 5th Avenue as they had a better discount there. All this stuff is immaterial. Why you went there, why didn't you go to the mall on 22nd, whatever, that is all immaterial. I decided. Is I and decided same? Yes, it is you that has decided or that have decided. It's not somebody else. Is it inside you? Yes, it is inside. You cannot take that decision out of you. I could, but where would I keep it? So it is a part of this person here, I, hence to go to the mall as they had better discounts there. So please remember, these are two ways. You are looking at them as two ways. One is part of the conversation and another is the separation or the inclusion from the person speaking that sentence. Trouble and the little boy could be separated because he was not troubled. The decision is your decision. You can't really separate yourself from your decision. Right, let's go on to the third one. Options. Let's rule out again the same way. It is considered impolite. Okay. Talking is a possible option. Does it change the tense? No, because it acts like a noun, so it doesn't really change the tense. Also, we have an adjective there, so it's a very possible option. Is it the correct option? We shall see that in a minute, but as of now, it is an option. To infinitive. To talk. Is it an option? Yes, it is an option. Talk. It is considered impolite. Talk. if I use talk here, what happens? Same with talked is just not possible to be used here because it's the past participle and doesn't really make much sense without has, and even then it has to be right next to it. Okay, let's see the solutions here. It is considered impolite, and all right, it is considered impolite to do what? To do what? Not it is considered impolite what? You would never, nobody would ever ask such a question. It is considered impolite what? No, not it is considered impolite what? It is considered impolite to do what? To talk with your mouth full. To talk with your mouth full. Again, let's look at it as separation or inclusion. It is considered impolite. Can you remove consideration from it or from this thing or from whatever that it is supposed to represent? Can you really separate these two? No, you cannot. Not really. Just like you cannot separate yourself from your decision, you cannot separate your consideration from yourself or somebody else's consideration from them. You cannot separate it. Hence, you get the answer to talk. Now let's just summarize what we understood. It's a bit, perhaps it seems a bit difficult to understand, but once the concept, once the basics sink into your head, it's very, very simple. So, how do we know which is what? So, the conversations make or form an incomplete conversation from the exact sentence. Do not change the forms. Do not take the first person and put it in the second person. Do not interchange the subject or the object. No, do not do that. The same exact sentence like we did. Copy paste in your mind or on your book, wherever. Copy paste it. And then form a second question by the listener or by person number 2 or by the reader. And if the question ends in what or for what, you know you have to answer with a gerund. However, if the question ends in to do what, you have to use a to infinitive. Now the second way, separation from or inclusion with or including, included in, with the speaker or with the person. Number 1, can we really separate it? If we can separate it, then use a gerund. If we cannot separate it, please use a to infinitive. Watch this video again. Want you to, how many times? I don't know, half a dozen times, a dozen times till the thing sinks in you. Also, let's look at do or modals. When you have do or a modal verb, you have to use a bare infinitive. You should be happy, you must be happy, we must ride, you may sit. All these were modals, modals, modals. Then we use the bare infinitives of all these words. Same with do try. Do and try, they can be two verbs, yes, but are we using them as two verbs? No, we are not. So he did what? He did try to finish the race despite his injury. Why have I not put all this stuff before? Because this is very simple to understand. So do or modals, bare infinitive follows that without exception. Same way, to have or have and past participle, you get the perfect tense after that. He has spoken. Spoken is the past participle of speak. Same way, drunk. The boy had drunk. Drunk is the past participle of drink. Hence, have past participle, you are changing the tense, you are getting perfect tense. It could be present perfect, it could be past perfect, future perfect, what have you.